Today we're stepping inside one of the most iconic homes in Dallas, Texas, the stunning Stubbs House, lovingly restored and decorated by homeowners Wayne Noble and Barry Jones. Known for decades as the crown of Swiss Avenue, this grand home takes on an even more magical glow at Christmas. When Wayne and Barry spotted the listing, they drove by and instantly fell in love. They set out to restore the estate to its original grandeur, preserving the integrity and charm that makes Swiss Avenue so special. And during the holidays, Barry and Wayne miss no detail when it comes to decor. The couple's love for Christmas fills the home with more than 60 trees, including 40 full-sized ones, creating a truly enchanting winter wonderland. To watch this episode ad-free, where you'll also see their beautifully remodeled kitchen, scan the QR code on screen, or visit homeworthyplus.com for access to all of our latest episodes ad-free and to receive other exclusive membership perks. This Christmas, Homeworthy invites you into a season of wonder. Over the next 25 days, we're stepping into homes that sparkle with holiday cheer, where garlands tumble from mantels, ornaments hang like tiny treasures, and every corner comes alive with joy, merriment, and the spirit of the season.
And I don't know how many ornaments are on the tree. Last year I got 1,400 on, and they were made all over the world. There were ones made in America, Poland, Italy, Japan, just a wide variety, and I love them all.
We'll visit homes where traditions are cherished, where beauty is made by hand, and where rituals become memories that last a lifetime.
We make about 400 of these rolls every year, and on Christmas Eve, our family delivers them to certain families within the area, and our kids get to participate in choosing who gets them.
From quiet moments by the fire to happy gatherings around the table, we're celebrating the way the holidays transform our spaces and fill them with magic.
We do quite a dressy table because it's Christmas and it's a party and you want it to feel special, but you also, it's nice to make the table a little bit kind of imperfect, a little bit higgledy-piggledy. I want people to feel at a party in my home as if they're kind of wearing a ball gown but going barefoot. You know, it's that kind of high-low moment, the kind of specialness, but also the coziness of being really comfortable.
So pour something warm, settle in, and join us for Homeworthy's 25 Days of Christmas, a season-long celebration of holiday magic. To watch Homeworthy's entire Christmas collection ad-free, visit homeworthyplus.com or scan the QR code on screen. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, Homeworthy. Welcome to our home in Dallas. I am Barry. This is my husband, Wayne. Come on in.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Barry Jones. I work for Restoration Hardware. I am in their landscape construction division.
And thank you for having us. My name is Wayne Noble. I moved here from Denver to Dallas about 12 years ago. I worked for AT&T for 25 years and I'm now retired and just enjoying life.
We're located in Dallas, Texas. We're in the Swiss Avenue Historic District. Specifically, we are in the Robert and Marie Stubbs home. It is a Texas landmark. It was landmarked back in the 80s. And so, yeah, we are part of the Swiss Avenue Historic District in a Tudor Revival, Tudor Jacobean style home.
The house was built by Robert and Marie Stubbs as their first residence. It was started in 1926 and completed in 1927. The placement was very strategic. It was built at the head or the highest point within the Swiss Avenue district. So everybody coming up Swiss Avenue would basically see the house as they drive up the street. The architect was Otto Lang, and it's a very non-traditional home for Dallas in the design and architecture, with the Tudor as it's the only Tudor home really within the district. Has multiple fireplaces, lots of chimneys, chimney pots. It's one of the larger homes encompassing over 7,000 square feet. plus servants' quarters in the back. So it's on 6/10 of an acre lot. So it's a beautiful home and is very striking and is considered one of the landmarks within the district.
It's also considered by the district to be the crown jewel of Swiss Avenue because of its location on Swiss Avenue. We have Swiss Avenue here on the side of us, and as Wayne mentioned, it is specifically placed so that everybody coming into the district would not miss this property. So they have nicknamed it the crown jewel of Swiss. This is our foyer. So some of the notable features in this space are the ceilings. They're plaster ceilings done in 1926 by Caskey Plaster from Dallas. They also have great archways, beautiful wainscoting around the space, great hardwood floors. They're all quarter-sawn oak, as well as this beautiful sweeping staircase and hand-pressed glass at the very back of the foyer. For Christmas in this space, again, because there's a lot of symmetry in it, you'll notice that we have trees flanking the doorway. We have garland that sweeps up the stairwell. We have this little hidden door moment over here where I've done some garland draped around that mirror, as well as just classic elements, the marble entryway table with a great little display of twinkling lights and little finials and just classic little elements for the holidays. And then they transition down into this little seating area underneath the stairs. Again, another tree, some garland on the window well, and just little moments and baubles decorated on some of those tables. When you walk into this space for the first time, I think you feel like you're being wrapped in just all these beautiful details. So from plaster ceilings to stained glass windows to the warmth of the hardwood floors, it's just a warm and inviting space, and it's a great place to just take in every space on the main floor. You can see pretty much all of the main floor from this foyer.
Everybody always says when they enter, it just feels warm and welcoming. It's not tight, it's not overly large, so you don't feel lost in the space. The presence created by the staircase and the pressed glass windows at the back really make it inviting. It draws you in, and as he said, you can view so many spaces from this room. It's amazing. Something fun, which always fascinates people, is the hidden space behind the mirror, which was actually used as a bathroom during the Depression when virtually all these houses became boarding houses to stay alive and be maintained. And it fascinates people because most people would never guess that there's a room behind this door.
Off of our foyer, we have this formal parlor. You'll notice that there's this beautiful classic carved stone fireplace surround. It's done in the Gothic arch, which matches the front door arch as well. The one good thing about this home was it was always fed with gas. So all the fireplaces now working again are all gas in this home, and which was unusual at that time of the century, that they just piped gas here automatically so they didn't have to deal with cleaning the really tall flues. Some of the other fun elements in here are these arches over the bookcases, which you can't see are the classic sconces that are in behind the two Christmas trees. And this room was entirely designed around the Oriental rug that is an heirloom to the family. So I pulled the color inspiration from that rug, so you'll see these beautiful navy tones, the burgundies, some of the old burgundy chairs and such, just to kind of pull color out of this rug. There's a classic mantle clock, which has been in my family forever. And then there's some little fun, whimsical nods in our room because we definitely love Disney. You'll see that throughout the home. And really fun Kincaid art as well. Use of this room usually is overflow for our events. So a lot of times, again, it's a formal parlor, so people will come in here when we're entertaining. They'll just sit down and be able to have a conversation. The acoustics in this space are really good. And the light is wonderful because it does face south. So when we're here, usually it's just an overflow space. It does transition into our library, which is adjacent to our study. It's also a room that you see when you enter in, so it kind of just draws you in when you see these colorways.
Or to just curl up and read a book. Comfortable, oversized chairs. It's quiet, peaceful, away from the rest of the house, so you can just sit and relax.
So for this home especially, since there are 40 full-size trees and 20 additional smaller trees in the house, scale was very important to me. So I didn't want to have to move furniture out of the way specifically, so you'll see that most of these trees are slim. which also plays well with the architecture in this space. So the tops are grand, they're over the top, there's lots of ribbons and sprays and things like that, and the tree themselves will have some unique elements like these feather boas, little pillows tucked into it, lots of berry sprays, and then just kind of appreciating the space it's in. So with this one, the blues and burgundies pull out of the rug, and a lot of it is, again, just based on scale. We didn't want to get too tall because we didn't want to be right up against the ceiling in this space, because the rest of this room doesn't lend itself to being decorated that high. So I think the biggest one here is just pull inspiration from something in the room, especially if you decorate to your space. Welcome to our music room. Specifically, we are using this room as the music room because of the 80-year-old Steinway that is nestled into this bay window. The architecture of the space really lent itself to having this gorgeous black Steinway back there. In this space specifically, we pulled all of our color inspiration out of the stained glass. So there was a lot of blues in it, those really deep grays in some of the florals. And so that, the previous owner had also painted this bay, this really saturated blue, which we left. We actually appreciated it. And so I built the rest of the room decor around that. So you'll notice that, again, wainscoting carries in from the foyer, the gorgeous Cascade plaster ceilings, transoms and French doors, an amazing cast stone fireplace with a monogram for the original builder. And then we pulled the color out of the stained glass. So blues in the furniture, in the throws, the art glass on our bookcase, blues and silvers as well in these trees. So it's all driven by this bay window.
And we try to, when we have guests or a large party, we like to hire a pianist to come in and play. It's an amazing room. People sit down, just listen to the music. Sometimes we'll start singing along. Or from my perspective, sometimes I'll just come in here and sit down and listen to music. It's a great escape space. That's just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's just very warm and welcoming.
Throughout the home, you'll notice the lighting is classic yet updated. So a lot of the lighting specifically in this home now is from Restoration Hardware. So in this case, it's a classic crystal chandelier with this steel orb around it. You'll notice there's steel elements throughout the home. We definitely embrace the masculine feel of this architecture. And so with the steel around this, some of the steel in the sconces on the walls, there's the steel baskets holding wood next to the fireplace. Those elements just kind of further the masculinity of this architectural style. And then that transitions to the steel frame in the entryway, the steel frame holding the chandelier in our dining room. There's just lots of elements from other spaces where it flows from this space.
It's worth noting that all of the original lighting that was in these homes was usually sold during the Depression, because most of these homes, the owners really fell into financial challenges, and it was one of the few ways to help pay the taxes, pay to keep the home from falling into default. Between selling the fixtures and turning them into boarding houses, unfortunately, after that war ended, a lot of these fell into disrepair. And some were leveled, some were destroyed until the historic district was created, and then finally there was a following to restore and maintain these old homes as part of Dallas's heritage.
The ceilings throughout the main floor spaces, our entryway, our dining room, this music room, and our family room are all plaster. They were put in the home when it was built by Cascade, who is local to Dallas. They still have these molds because when they had to replace the dining room ceiling, they were able to follow the original molds. We do have some of that still left in the attic, thankfully, in case something were to ever happen, but definitely a local plaster artist who did all of the ceilings on the main floor. There's moldings in the butler pantry, there's moldings in our parlor, all of those are plaster as well.
And it's interesting, there's actually a resurgence in plaster ceilings as an architectural detail. And the Cascade plaster was taken over by a younger couple a number of years ago. They came out to look at the house, but they're doing a lot of work in other states, including Florida, because people are starting to appreciate the design and the character of that pattern.
My favorite aspect of this room is the bay window, and mainly because of the Cremone hardware on the leaded glass windows and the leaded glass transoms with the great little stained glass medallions in them. There's a lot of natural light, and you can see the bubbles in the glass, which really lends itself to just the warmth. There's a little amber glow that comes through them, but there's such detail in them. And so you cannot replicate that today in window manufacturing. So that's what I appreciate the most about this space.
I think just the ceiling height, the warmth of the space. Clearly, because the piano's been in the family for over 80 years, there's a lot of sentimental value to that. Remember when my mom bought it and the discussions that were had, but it's just part of, I remember my mother when I see the piano, and a lot of fond memories. She would be proud that we still have it, maintain it.
When we relocated to Dallas, I was working out of the Plano RH Gallery, and I had asked some of the team where I should visit to see historic homes. And they had pointed me to the Swiss Avenue Historic District as a must-see. If anywhere to go in Dallas, you must go see Swiss Avenue Historic District. So I came down on a weekend off, drove through the district. On the way back up, as most people do when they come back up Swiss, this house was sitting on the corner with the for sale sign in the corner of it. And so it was an instant fall in love. The reason I fell in love with the house was the massive chimneys that are on this property. I am drawn to tall roof lines and even taller chimneys, and this met both. And so we began our 18-month journey to purchasing this home.
Many people who come into the area are a little surprised with the size and the architecture variety that's in the Swiss Avenue Historic District. This house is unique based on size and design, but also we have tried to keep it in line with its original intent, meaning we haven't tried to turn it into another contemporary McMansion. The goal was to renovate it and keep it relevant today while maintaining its original character. And I think we've done a very good job in doing that. It's an incredible property. People fall in love with it when they enter, and it is truly a warm feeling house that can host a very large group of people if you choose.
As we transition out of the music room, we are entering a space that we utilize on a daily basis as our family room. So when the home was built, this was just a sunroom, a sun porch. And so this was an exterior, as you can tell from the brick walls, this was an exterior room, all open air. It has been enclosed over the years, and so we're utilizing it for family room. And in here, you'll notice again, plaster details in the ceilings, a little bit more of a Greek inspiration. And some of the elements in the furniture, again, the iron sideboards and console tables, just kind of furthering that masculine feel that we have throughout the home. Specifically for my holiday, these trees are more about a story of our life together. So you'll notice on the trees, these are decorated with whimsical elements and ornaments that we've collected the 25 years that we've been together. So you'll see a lot of Disney, you'll see a lot of color, you'll see pieces we found in airport gift shops. And so these two trees in this space really speak to our 25 years together as a couple.
It's unique and fun, and it just brings back a lot of memories. And 25 years, I think, is a long time to be together. It's been an amazing experience, amazing life, and these represent those 25 years. It really does to me. So there's a lot of memories in this space.
Another fun element that's in this space is the wooden piece that's behind us on the wall is this Hooser cabinet. So the Hooser cabinet was a piece my mom and dad found. Strangely enough, it served as my changing table as a baby. But it is still an original piece from the 1890s, and so this was back in the day when kitchens were nothing more than this Hooser cabinet. So it's got some of the original details in it, like your sugar bin, your flour sifter, your spice racks, your little pie safes with the metal details on it. It's got a great little area down here for storage, and it all features the old Hooser element logo on their handles.
One of the fun things, people are fascinated by this cabinet. You even have menus and recipes available in the cabinet. So for the housewife that didn't know how to cook, this would tell you what to serve with what. A lot of history in this old piece. So it's a big conversation piece. It's just a classic space that you can sit down, relax, stretch out on the couch, watch a movie. Our dogs hang out in here with us. This is other than the sunroom where we spend a lot of our time.
Well, the styles changed a little bit in our relationship. When I met Wayne 25 plus years ago, he was very uber contemporary, and clean lines, and our style has transitioned to being more transitional and a little more classic inspired. Our last few homes have had lots of classic elements in them, this being the most classic of any of the homes that we've lived in together. So with that being said, we definitely like things to be updated. However, we tend to be more preservationist driven. So we like to go out and find old hardware, old lighting, or lighting that would fit an old home. Sourcing materials that also have warmth and interest to them. With this home specifically, as you wander through, you'll notice there's a little bit of an industrial, masculine touch to it. There's a lot of iron, mainly because there's a lot of iron elements on the home, so we incorporated those inside as well. And you'll see that the home, though warm and inviting, definitely, because of its style, tends to be a more masculine architecture. And so we really ran with that while updating it, keeping it classic, keeping it relevant, keeping it a bit masculine, and still making it warm and inviting to the masses.
And from my perspective, the only room that was important to me was the kitchen. I love to cook. I like a very functional kitchen, commercial grade appliances. We like to host large parties. That's what I care about. That's where my input really ends. Once we get past the kitchen, it becomes Barry's responsibility. But I love the design. This house just feels warm and comfortable to spend time in.
All right, as we transition off the music room, we come into our dining room. So this space, when we took it over, one had a lot of damage in the woodwork, so we have had to paint that and repair a lot of woodwork in here. But we kept the classic detail, beautiful plaster ceilings, great crystal chandeliers. And in this space, because it flows so nicely to the rest of the home, other than the holiday, we usually have all the French doors open. But you'll see a lot of classic elements from wall sconces, beaded mirrors, tall cabinetry, a lot of dark woods, again, to kind of play off of the wood floors themselves. In here, we've got a vintage wallpaper cart that we're using as a bar cart, iron again in the table, the buffet lamps, and then, as I mentioned before, symmetry and balance are very important to me. So you'll notice that I have these two trees tucked into the corner. And specifically for this space, because it has a lot of white trim, this is a little bit more of an icy feel for me. So you'll see the trees are flocked, lots of silvers and whites, lots of a white hydrangea. It's my favorite flower, so that's throughout the home, as well as dotting the dining room table and nestled into the garland on the buffet. Specifically, the pieces in here, classic yet updated, vintage French chairs. There's a lot of Cremone hardware on our buffet pieces, iron in a lot of the elements. And then the table is set as if we were entertaining for one of our holidays. So you'll see lots and lots and lots of layers. We're specifically love to have, the charger plates and the layers of classic white china with the silver rim, the crystal stemware with the silver rim. And one of my favorite things to do when I entertain is I always have a treat. So you'll see on all of our dinner tables, we always have a cloche with some sort of treat under it, whether it be these chocolates or cupcakes or muffins or cakes or pies or whatever, but we love to surprise our guests when they arrive with a little cloche with treats.
It's interesting, as part of the history of the house, it was designed so that the servants could be shut off and the spaces could be shut off to prep a table or work in the kitchen without going into the other spaces or bothering the guests. So all of the original doors are still intact with the beaded glass. So they could set the table, prepare the meal without bothering guests who were just spending time in the living room or one of the other living rooms until the meal was ready. So it's great to still have these. They're very functional, and it allows things to be prepared prior to inviting people to join us in the dining room.
I think the reason I enjoy the space so much is that it does go back to the times when we would sit down to a meal. Nowadays, everything is so rush. We're guilty of it. We sit out here in the sunroom and have our meals, but when we entertain, we love to sit down here and be removed from all that's going on around us. So having the fire go in the fireplace, again, another cast stone fire fireplace surround with the Gothic arch that matches the front door. But it's such a warm and inviting space because you could close off the doors if you wished, or we could close the French doors and whatever's happening in the kitchen happens in the kitchen. But you're still feeling like you're connected to all of your guests around the table.
You can spend hours just sitting at the table over a nice glass of wine and visiting and enjoying time with friends or family. And we just did that again recently for a birthday party. And people were in here for 3 to 4 hours easily, just enjoying each other's company, enjoying some dessert or a treat. And that's what it's all about. It's sharing that time with friends and family. Our time on the earth is limited, so sharing that experience is very important to us.
Specifically for the holidays, the centerpiece stays a lot the same. In the past, my gift to our house guests was I would wait till everybody went to bed, and then I would create a unique tablescape for Christmas Day dinner. And so here, unfortunately, we haven't been able to have our friends join us for Christmas in this home, but when we do entertain, I usually have the table decorated much like this. I might change up the ornaments slightly, the napkins slightly, those sorts of things. In this home now, it's been like this for a few years now. We would, if the chandelier weren't there, I might do something over the top and tall, but you know, the ceilings are a little bit lower, so I can't go very high with it. But I also don't want to take away from the beautiful wood paneling when somebody walks into the space, the great windows. So I have chosen to keep the tablescape a little bit lower. So as we leave the dining room and walk through the new butler pantry, we enter our sunroom. So the sunroom was added sometime in the 80s, we believe, by the previous owners, and there's 2 parts, so that's why they're a little differently shaped. However, it does overlook the backyard that we are reclaiming as an English garden here. When we bought the home, there was a pool out back which had caused a lot of damage to this structure specifically. It had caused the sunroom to shift a little bit. Thankfully, it's righting itself. But what you notice in here is just the amount of great light. So it's where we spend most of our time having our meals, our breakfasts, and our lunches and dinners when it's just the 2 of us. But you get to look out onto these gardens that we've been curating over the past few years and trying to grow with the help of our dogs. So it is a really fun space with the classic fountain outside, and we can sit here with our lemon tree and our plants and our orchids and just really enjoy the bright light and the warmth of the space. And then it transitions beautifully out into the backyard. For me specifically in this space, I've chosen the black and white. There's a lot of dark elements in here, again, the iron elements. So there is a mask that's on the front of the tree, which we found in Disney in Epcot. And so this was my inspiration for this entire space. There was this Venetian in Italy, in the nation Italy, they had this little Venetian mask maker. And so this is what drove this entire design for me.
I would say people like to hang out in this space. And I think it's because they feel coupled to the yard and the space around it. It's just not a room. Other than a couple of months a year, it's a beautiful backyard. We always have flowers blooming, but it's just, people always say, wow, that's amazing. I mean, we have a lot of old trees. The azaleas are still blooming. It's just a great room to hang out and relax in with quite a bit of seating.
Architecturally, it's not right for this house. However, the previous owner put it on there. If we choose to stay long-term, we would like to redesign the sunroom and make it fit more architecturally with the home. Big, heavy wood beams like the arbor that we built out back, things like that. But it is bright and light, and it's really fun to hang out in here. And for the most part, the dogs love laying out here, and then so does the kitty. And so it's just a really great space for us.
You just cannot have a conversation in it if there's a hail or hard rainstorm. It's so loud you can't hear yourself think. So you have to keep that in perspective. But it's really usable year-round.
The home is decorated all 3 stories inside and out. It is definitely, again, a little more classic inspired. Trees everywhere. There are approximately 60 of them in the home, 40 of them being full-size. The remainders being 2s and 4 foots. But with that being said, a lot of glass ornaments, a lot of ribbons, a lot of berry sprays, tons of warm lighting. You'll see that every tree has packages and baubles underneath them. There's just lots and lots and lots of layers. As you can see in the camera, there's garlands on the mantles where mantles exist. There are garlands on the staircases. There's wreaths in the windows. So it is really about enhancing all of the architectural features of the home and making it warm and inviting and just something that would just be awe-inspiring to whoever walks through our front doors. Utilizing architectural elements, so for us, yes, to answer your question about whether we've allowed the home to kind of give us a roadmap to how we want to decorate. The home has a lot of symmetry in the rooms themselves, and obviously working for RH, we're all about symmetry and balance. So most rooms have at least 2 trees if the architecture drives that process. So behind us, obviously you see the 2 flanking the fireplace. In another room, there's garlands wrapping the fireplace, but there's a giant bay window, and there are 2 trees that flank that bay window. In the dining room, same thing. There's this massive wall of windows, and there's a buffet underneath the windows. We flank that buffet with 2 trees in there. Same thing in the family room. So for the most part, it's driven by the symmetry and balance of the rooms inside the home, but also really the scale of the home tends to just dictate that you can decorate, you can tuck things into corners, you can wind garlands down the staircase and surround the chandeliers. The window ledges themselves are deep, so we can throw garlands and berry sprays and different things like that in the window ledges. And so with that, especially on the exterior, there's a ton of windows on the front of our house. Every one of them has a wreath in it, because why do the first floor but not the second floor, sort of thing. So to answer your question about it, yes, the architecture certainly drives a lot of the design ideas. And with that being said, the home doesn't feel any smaller. So the good thing about this home is that this was so well laid out to entertain that we can throw decor in all these different areas and it doesn't feel crowded. It feels warm and inviting.
One of the features that was really brought to our attention over the past number of years is we've actually had a couple of small made-for-TV movies done here, and one, okay, I want to say low-budget motion picture, if you will, horror movie. And one thing every person who came through the house said, this house is easy to film in because virtually every room has multiple or at least 2 entrances. So if you're filming in the house or if you're doing trees and other hosting events, access is very good to all the rooms. It's very open feeling and welcoming, and that's a huge difference in the design of the house.
As we transition to the second floor, you'll notice that the primary is tucked at the very back of the home. So this was the privacy area. It was also adjacent to the servant's stair. The one great thing about this home is that all of our bedrooms on the second floor feature multiple closets. At the time, unusual, but in this case, they all have really great elements inside, like built-in storage, built-in shoe racks, all original to the home. Great little storage underneath the window bench. And then you'll see some of the other elements like some of the little moldings that were left in the home, great trim around the doorways. The quarter-sawn oak transitions upstairs from downstairs, which is great. And then it'll transition into some of the original bathrooms that we have still left in the home.
I think what's most unique about all the bedrooms in this house is they're large, which back then was fairly uncommon. And you walk through so many homes today, they feel tight and confined. None of these bedrooms feel that way. It just allows you a lot of space to put in a couple of chairs, give it a relaxing feeling, in addition to just having the bed and possibly 1 chair. So for an older home, it's exciting to have that type of space to work with.
When I was picking colors for this space, it was same thing, was just transitioning some of the main floor color up. So you'll notice throughout most of the space, navy and grays are a common thread for the most part. It doesn't necessarily transition to the olive bathroom, but that is original to the home. However, the rest of the decor is meant to be very seamless throughout the home. There's only a couple rooms where I've changed that up. I don't want it to be too busy personally. I like having the artwork stand out. So you'll find other colorful pieces in all these spaces. I just want the rest of the decor to be a supporting role in that case. So the navies, again, the navies and grays are a little bit more of a masculine colorway. And so we appreciated that just because the architecture lends to being a little bit more of a masculine. So this is the primary bathroom, which is adjacent to the primary bedroom. And in this space, we have left it as it was. So you'll notice all the original Rookwood tile that's in here in this olive green. Certainly it's not the most perfect combination with the navies and grays. It does complement it. There is still the original built-in bathtub. We have updated the fixtures, but they do have a classic detail with the skirting and the crown molding on the tank. And then adding in, again, a bit more of a 1920s Art Deco sort of feel with the chandelier. At one point, the shower was a closet. The previous owner had enclosed it and turned it into a shower. So that would be a future project for us. We'd love to be able to come up with a more cohesive tile. Currently, it does help update the home. Most homeowners nowadays don't just bathe, they do want to shower. So that's a future project for us, but it is definitely adds to the livability in these classic old homes. The one fun element in this space and it is in all of our bathrooms that are still original, is we have really great built-in elements like the toothbrush holder, the glass towel rods with the original supports built into the tile, the soap dishes that still exist in the walls, things you just don't see in bathrooms nowadays that aren't surface mounted. So thankfully for all the bathrooms, these were left, and so we've just went ahead and appreciated their history and wanted to just embrace it, even if the color doesn't necessarily work. They did also incorporate a hex, just a slightly higher, larger scale on our bathrooms upstairs, so they went to a 2-inch hex, which we loved, and we used it when we were repairing some of the bathrooms out in our carriage house apartments. Off the main hallway as we come up the stairs, you'll notice this is one of our guest rooms. So it is adjacent to an original bathroom that we still have left in the house. This beautiful little powder blue bathroom with all of its built-in fixtures. But for me personally, in this space, I wanted this to feel a little bit more feminine. So you'll notice that we have some Parisian-inspired canopy beds, great bedding that has a lot of like the details that would be a little bit more old world and classic, fun little table lamps with the linen shades. And so same thing with like the little metal benches with the linen cushions on them. And I wanted it light and bright. So obviously the room, it transitions in nicely, the hallway colors, the whites and grays. So I picked that same colorway up for the bedding, just adding a feminine detail to it. In here, you see we've got some great little canopies all dressed up in these little chenille stem garlands, lots of silvery, wintry sort of decor on the trees. Little crystal bottles on the side tables, lots of little fluffy bags underneath the trees. So it was just meant to feel more like a girl's room. And then the boys, obviously, you'd put the boys upstairs in the attic, so the boys' room is upstairs. So for our guests, this would be where the girls would stay, and if we had boy guests, they would stay upstairs. My favorite part for decorating for the holidays would be all of the lights. So at some point, I would certainly encourage you to drive by at night when we get the exterior turned on. This home, when it's fully lit, is beyond stunning. Like the warm glow that comes from inside the windows, the sparkly little lights, all of the color. As you can tell from our home, it's a pretty neutral color palette, and we tend to like that because it lets our art pop. It lets the decor pop. Those elements that are a little more temporary, they stand out against this more neutral palette. However, when you see it dressed up at Christmas, it just feels alive. There's so much light and so much sparkle and energy again. And so I think once we plug in those lights like we did yesterday and tested all the timers, and they all came on last night at 5 o'clock, it was beautiful. It was just so warm and so exciting to see. So that was my favorite element for it.
I would have to agree. And in all honesty, the best part is when we have an event or host a party or even just friends over for the holidays, and to see their face and their reaction. It's truly an amazing house that really is warm and welcoming. We have lots of friends that come from Denver, and they say it's just an amazing feeling to be in this home. It's not, even though it's large, it's not cold. It's all warm and inviting, and the lights just really bring a lot of warmth and magic to the experience.
During COVID, we took an opportunity while we were all stuck at home working to finish off the attic. So when we purchased this home, this was unfinished. We have spray foamed the entire attic, which makes it livable and comfortable. And we took inspiration from the room behind you for the finish out on it. So this was the original storage room for the home. So it was all clad in this old nickel gap tongue and groove wood. So I used that as inspiration in finishing out this attic. I couldn't find this really wide plank, which is fine, it would have been hard to work with, but we were able to find all tongue and groove nickel gap and finish out the remainder of the third floor in it so that it transitioned nicely to what was already existing in the home.
And really everything we did up here was really with future thought of someday a family with children is going to move back into this home. So the space in the attic was designed to be somewhat indestructible. The floors are actually oak that have been finished with exterior deck stain, so they can be touched up, patched, repaired, whatever is necessary. But also, children can be up here making a lot of noise, screaming, yelling, having a good time, without disturbing guests on the main floor. And that was one of the main thoughts in the design.
For the Christmas up here, you'll notice that there are a lot of teddy bears. Teddy bears were a thing that Wayne and I used to give each other early on in our relationship. So we've been collecting teddy bears forever, and I utilize them in the decor up here. One, because I feel this is going to be a space for kids, so I want it to feel a little more youthful. But the trees are covered in ornaments and teddy bears. The tree skirts themselves are all teddy bears. I've worked teddy bears into the mantle garland, and then I've also got them tucked around in a couple of the other spaces. So it's just kind of a little bit more of a youthful space. There's a ton of Monopoly games. I collect them, so you'll see that up here. And it transitions into my Lego room. So it's really meant to feel a little less adult, knowing that we all have to be adults. And so for this, it just kind of added a little bit more of a whimsy to the space. It also this main space transitions into a bedroom, which is decorated for little boys. So it is kind of a space that I imagine would be for kids.
Just an interesting note, my grandmother started giving me a stuffed animal or bear when I was 5 years old. So a lot of the bears around the tree were actually given to me by her. So as an extension, we started with collecting bears after we were together. And there's a huge assortment of bears from many, many years up here. And there's a lot of memories as part of that.
A couple things you'll notice when you're upstairs in the space are some of these leaded glass windows. We're utilizing one at the end of the hallway where the bedroom is, as well as this one that's allowing light in from my craft room into this game room. And these came out of the home next door that was torn down behind us. So we were able to salvage a few of these pieces and utilize them as windows to allow light, but also as artwork that you'll see hanging down there. And then also around the corner in the bathroom is a great little clawfoot tub, a steel clawfoot tub that we were able to salvage out of their carriage house before it ended up in a landfill. So it's fun to be able to find some of these pieces and repurpose them in unique ways. I think hanging stained glass that's backlit is a great idea for art. And it also, in some cases, allows, especially when you have an adjacent room to a big window, it allows light into your space and kind of helps open it up visually. All right, so as we leave this main game room area, we're going to transition into my craft room. This is my game room. So what you'll notice up here is that, again, we kind of continued some of the same wood treatments throughout. You'll see some floating shelves on the walls with all my ribbon, a great iron piece down below with all of our gift wrap, iron mercantile racks that hold gift bags and gift cards and things like that. But the most fun element of this room is the Lego collection. So this is my opportunity to be less adult in our lives, and I have always had a fascination for building things. And so Lego was the thing that my parents gave me. Lego is the element that I am gifted at Christmas because I need nothing else but Lego when it comes to Christmas. So a lot of the kits that you'll see on these two tables are pieces that Wayne has given me over the years, from the Titanic over here to Taj Mahal to the Roman Colosseum, the Eiffel Tower, all fun elements that we've collected over the years. And I've just started embellishing and building my own little version of a Lego city with it. It is small potatoes. When you Google Lego cities, you will see that this is pretty small scale, but it's just kind of a fun element for me to escape from my everyday adult life and come up here and just kind of relax. If I don't like it, can tear it apart, start over again. Lots and lots of little bins of Lego around, so I'm in the process of reworking some towers in my little Lego amusement park, and if I don't like it, I'll tear it apart and start again. But it is a great space, lots of natural light. It's removed from everything else, so when I do have to be adult, I can sit at my desk back there, take my conference calls, and then come around on my lunch break or whatever and have some fun relaxing. It is a great space to create. In this space, specifically the colorway I picked for my trees is based on the plastic totes I found at Target to hold all my Lego. So because of their purple handles, that's why my trees up here are purple and silver. It's kind of a fun little element. Purple is obviously one of my favorite colors as well, but it just kind of speaks to me. So I've incorporated purple into ribbons, into the totes that hold the Lego, lots of things like that. That's just kind of a little signature color for me. For my birthday just a few days ago, we were at the Lego store getting more stuff for that. It's all I asked for. Really, for Christmas, do not buy me clothing, do not buy me anything else, just buy me Lego. That's all I need. It's easy, it's relaxing, I can rip it apart.
And I have to hope every year they come out with a new deluxe kit that I think he will like, because if they don't, I'm in trouble from a Christmas perspective. So I look forward to the fall catalog coming.
Favorite Lego, Probably my favorite's the Eiffel Tower, because it is something that, for us personally, the home's been on the market, we've temporarily removed it, it'll go back on the market in spring. We want to move to France. Wayne's retired. I love Parisian architecture. You'll notice that in the artwork throughout the home. In the stairwell, there's two paintings of Paris. One of our anniversary pieces hanging over the fireplace in the main floor it's a Louchepin. It was Rooftops of Paris. For some reason, I've always been fixated on Parisian and French architecture. And so a lot of the pieces here are old world. Big Ben, London Tower, the Eiffel Tower, the Roman Colosseum, Taj Mahal. It's all great architectural pieces. You will not see cars here. I'm not into anything other than architecturally driven Lego. So if it's a building, I'm probably going to build it. If it is a car, yeah, not for me. I just like building architectural elements. And so for me right now, I think some of my favorite things I've been working on are creating these gorgeous botanic gardens out of some of the smaller kits that Lego has had. For example, like that one is 4 kits put together to create that one massive block in this really cool botanic garden. This is incorporating some of Lego's other elements into my botanic garden. Just kind of creating streetscapes now. I've got to work on getting the streets put in, but I'm just kind of space planning as it goes. And then just tweaking things. I like taking something and adding a second and creating my own parks and going up a couple stories and just making them feel symmetric. That's a big thing for me. What does home mean to us?
I would have to say it's sharing our lives with others and sharing the experience and what we enjoy with others, whether it be food or music or just the house. Clearly, we do not have children. We do have 2 dogs. They're away for the day. But it's the warm feeling you get from experiencing and interacting with other people. A home is made up of what makes you happy, brings you joy, but what brings joy to life is experiencing your life and the time with other people and good friends, whether it be chosen family or your own family. That's what life is about, enjoying the time with others.
And I think for me, as a preservationist at heart, I would say that it's being able to, one, live in this amazing architectural gem of Dallas, but it's also preserving it for the future. So we're definitely, me especially, I am definitely about sourcing old elements, whether it's decor or materials or things like that, but it's also a legacy. So My home, when we leave this earth, is to be something that people appreciate, and I want to be able to share it long term. And so I think for us, putting our heart and soul into the works that have been finished at this point, certainly there's many more to do, but when we do leave, it will be leaving behind this amazing piece of property for Dallas to appreciate for years to come.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.